finally, this has taken multiple days here. Finally, I got the brand new alternator put in there. I was so jealous whenever I saw this on a YouTube video. Yeah, it was challenging to get the alternator out, but it is definitely doable. So this is the tensioner pulley. This was 13 millimeter. Basically, I put the socket and rotated it this way. And then while doing that, when this hole lined up with another back hole here, I stuck a Allen wrench in there to hold it in place. Then after that, you can just wiggle out the belt. And then the next thing I did was just to clear some space, I was able to just pop this out from the holes. There were 3 places. I just gently popped it out. Looks like the tab on the opposite side is broke. If I have to, I'll go get new ones, but I think it'll just go right back in. And then I disconnected the oil pressure switch. So I just disconnected this wiring harness here. And let me see. To do that, all I did was, if you look at the bottom of this, there's a little piece here that you can squeeze. And so after that, I was able to just wiggle it out. Also, this right here, you can see the hole there. I unbolted it there. I think that was 10 millimeter. Basically, I was just trying to get everything out of the way to make room. Now, this oil cooler line here, I saw a number of videos where they actually kept it, and I saw some other videos where they actually took it out. I warn you though, get the bucket ready, because it looks like maybe half gallon, maybe almost a gallon worth of coolant poured out, both from here as well as here, and in fact it's still kind of wet. It was done more than a day ago, and it's still dripping. You can see my white towel has become green here. And of course, to do that, I unclamped here, and this was a little bit hard to get out, but you know, just wiggle it, and then you can pull it out. And this is the screw hole that came out of here. The reason I did that was so I can, I see people struggling to get the alternator out and dropping subframes and taking out the radiator, condenser, and fan. And to me, it's much easier to lose some coolant and pour that back in than to be removing the fan, the condenser, and then the radiator. So, and this right here, connector, on the other side, there's another screw. I'll get to it in a minute. And then there was another clip above it that was holding it. So once I remove all that, you can see it's completely out of the way now. And I'm resting the AC compressor here because I don't want it to strain the lines. But this actually drops down quite a bit. Now I didn't remove the both the high and the low pressure lines. I think this can be done without. I don't want to lower it right now. Well, let me see. Okay. Now I can actually go lower if I wiggle with the pipe. So I'm there. I'm confident that, well, I shouldn't say confident. I can see enough room to get the alternator out. Okay. So for the AC, you can see here, I got the 2 bolts out. Those were 14 millimeter. Okay. And then before I did that, I removed the idler pulley here, and I believe that was 13 also. And make sure, you know, you just loosen the bolt in a counterclockwise, okay? And while you're doing this, check all the pulleys. I already spun this. This is spinning pretty smoothly. There's another pulley here. This is also making no noise. Now this tensioner puller, it's not bad, but I can hear a little bit of bearing noise, so we'll see. I'm thinking about replacing that as well. Let me see what else. So I haven't got to the alternator yet, but I want to just make some videos. This clip here on the AC, if you notice at the bottom, there's like a slide. It actually slides on top of this clip. Okay, I didn't know that. Somehow I accidentally was able to pull it out, but if you need to take it out, you can actually slide it back. And to put it back in, I can, you know, slide it back in. But to take this out, I didn't know how to take it out, but it turns out if you look here, this top piece here, this flat piece, I was able to actually push that down. I tried that several times and it wasn't coming out, so I thought maybe it was somewhere else, but because of the limited space, you know, you don't get a clear view on this, so I was able to just push down here, you know, while trying to separate the two, and it did finally come out. Okay. Let me see, what else did I do? Now this compressor, there's 2 bolts here, 14. These two are fairly easy to get to. Okay, just go directly. You know, you can go just directly from here. You know, with the long extension. Okay, so far here, there were no significant access issues. Now, I'm gonna pull out. Let me go to the front side of the car. Okay, now I'm at the front side of the car. I'm gonna go underneath. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna actually look at it from underside here. if you look at the AC here, now the bolts are out, but there are 2 bolts here. Okay, the bottom one is easy to get to. Okay, you just need a short socket, and that'll work. I'm sorry. Let me see here. Was it again? Okay, actually, it's on this side. Okay, the top one, because I didn't want to disconnect the oil pressure line, it blocked the path to the bolt a little bit, but still I was able to get to it from the front side. Let me turn around here. Okay, here's the front of the car. Okay, you got a little gap there, so I was able to actually get to it from here using universal joint. And I tried the impact gun, it wouldn't come out. I sprayed some the penetrating oil, and then used the breaker bar, and actually the breaker bar did a better job than the impact gun. Or it could be that combination of impact gun and penetrating oil really helped to loosen it. And then from the top side, as you can see, you can't really get to a lot of things with this main hose in a way. So I loosened this, okay? And then I took the hose out from here, and you can see here, I kind of taped it away. You're gonna lose some coolant here, as well as here. Now, I don't know, I'm debating whether I need to just completely take out this top piece. To do that, there's a little clip on this rubber hose. I gotta undo, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of access I have down to the alternator. It looks like I might be okay to keep that. By the way, whenever you take the screws out, there's gonna be a lot of things you remove. So, you know, like here, the engine cover, when I took it out, I put the bolt right back into the place, so that I don't actually, even if it's the same 10mm bolt, sometimes it can be of different length, and you want to use the right length. So basically, I try to put it back where it came from, so I don't have to remember later. Or worse yet, you assemble everything back together and then you still have some bolts left. So far, that's where I am at.
Let me see. Where?
So this alternator bolt here on the left side, this is the long bolt. I don't know if you can see clearly, but the bolt head is all kind of racked up, rounded up, and that was actually my fault. I was using this 12-point socket, and this is actually no good. The 12-point sockets don't grab the bolt heads as firmly. So this is one that was causing it to strip. I didn't have the 6-point socket that was 14mm, so that's why I ended up using this. But it turns out 9/16 is the exact same size as the 14mm, and I actually had a 6-point socket, but I didn't know that beforehand. So anyway, I ended up getting this type of socket. You can see it's kind of rounded shape, and apparently this bites into even if it's rounded out bolt heads. So this obviously, because it's kind of the shape is kind of mangled, it would partially go in but not fully, so I just slightly hammered it in, and the angle at which I got this out was just like this. This is the breaker bar here, and I was able to just get it from here. Okay. Before I was trying it with the long extension, and I don't think that was a good idea. Let me get this out. I was actually trying it with the universal joint and a long extension, and that actually made it, when you connect the universal joint with another a joint here, it would have too much free play, and I didn't think I would get the angle. But so if you go directly with the breaker bar, that was good. Okay, so I didn't completely take it out yet because I gotta figure out how to get the other bolt. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna get the angle to the let me see here. Maybe not. There's another screw up diagonally from there, so I gotta figure out how to get the other bolt out. The other trouble I'm having is to disconnect this those 3 wires that you see where my top of my light is pointing to, right there. That is really hard to get to. I mean, there's hardly any space to get your hand in there, and you gotta push in on the connector clip while pulling up, and you almost need 2 hands or extremely strong fingers, and I can't get that out. This other piece, I was able to peel back the rubber, and there's I forget, it's like maybe a 13 millimeter bolt. That one's easy. That one's easy to get out. You just have to peel back the rubber. But this other 3 wires here, the connector that goes into the alternator, that one's really hard to get out. So what I might have to do is just cut it. Okay, cut it, and either, gosh, I don't want to replace this whole thing. I may have to just reconnect it after I take down the alternator. But right now, my problem is I cannot even see that nut that's gone. I cannot even see the other side of the bolt. So I'm trying to see if I have to remove more parts here. So I'll be back. Here are all the parts, well, some of it anyway, all the parts that I removed and all the tools that I've used so far. This is the extractor socket that I just bought. In fact, I ordered it last night and it showed up. I ordered it from Amazon for, I think it was like 24 bucks, and it was here at 9 a.m. So that was like maybe within 15-hour window. So that was awesome. And if you look closely, you can see some of the metric and standard sockets, they're interchangeable. Okay, for example, 9/16 is the 14 millimeter. And where the sizes don't match, you know, they have their own specific size extractor. So I think this is gonna be invaluable, because when I work on the car, always I get one of the bolts head gets stripped. So to get the other bolt the top bolt on the alternator. If you look down here, I can't quite get the video shot, but it's you can see it's right behind. Hold on one second. Trying to do this. You see my, this is the 12 millimeter socket. I'm using a long socket. You can use a short socket if you want. Either would work. It's right behind this hose here. I'm holding a camera so I can't do it, but you basically just lift this up. This is connected to the AC compressor, okay? And then you can stick it in there and have it come out. And basically, it's this, I got it on a universal joint. So it's gonna get long, and then I had to extend it, okay? And then I used the impact to loosen it. After that, I was able to just twist it out. As you can see, I lowered the AC compressor as much as I can. And be careful with this wire, okay? This is from the AC. I should tape that down so it doesn't grab onto the alternator and get it ripped. I just gave it I didn't try too much. I tried for like a minute trying to wiggle this out. It's not coming out. It's pretty tight. So just want to show you, but I'm sure I can get it out. Others have gotten it out. So I think it all depends on position of this compressor. And from what I can tell, some of the guys that got it out, they have the rear end kind of tilt up, okay? Making the opening side lower to create more space. So to do that, I gotta lift the alternator back up, and while trying to get this tilted down, I might have to ask my wife to help me here. Hard to juggle both of these objects here, but just want to show you how tight this is. But I think there's enough. I think there's enough space. This is why I know there's some musicians out there. They didn't have to disconnect the oil coolant line, but I just disconnected everything, just get everything out of the way, including this. You can see I took it off the its position, and I'm gonna lower this when I'm taking it out, but right now this is not getting in the way. I'm thinking, actually, I'm wondering if I have to remove this bracket that was holding the idler pulley. Looks like that actually might give me a little bit more space that I need. Connector that to the alternator that I had trouble getting out. Now, from look of it, looks like you would press in where my thumb is, right? You will press in as you pull out, pull above. But this entire plastic is so fragile. It's probably due to all the heat that it's been taking for a while. So, in process of doing it, things were actually cracking up. So I ended up cutting the wire. So here's the upper idler pulley. The problem is there's a fair little space here where you can get the socket wrench in. So I had to I had to go to Harbor Freight and get one of these. So that itself is much thinner. As you can see, this is it saved me maybe a 1/4 inch. Actually, maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. Maybe about 3/8 to almost 1/2 inch. A little bit short of 1/2 inch. So that got me enough space, and this is nice because it's got the kind of the swivel head. So after that, because that shiny metal space up there that you see, I'm holding a light, so can't really point. That gave me enough space to get the alternator out, further out. I mean, it's almost out. Looks like I need another 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. So I gotta find a way to drop the AC a little bit more. So this is the alternator connector. This is the original one. This is the one that, this is the brand new alternator, by the way. It connects right here. And like I mentioned earlier, this is, that space is very, very tight. I mean, I have average hands and, you know, I'm not particularly fat, so, and I had really trouble getting any kind of space to unplug this. Here's the newer one that I bought. Since I couldn't get it out, I just cut it. So I'm gonna connect these wires back in there. The wire colors are a little bit different, so I'll have to match the position. I ordered this from Amazon. I think I paid $5 or $6, and it was actually overnight shipped. Okay, so I'm trying to splice this connector that I took off from the alternator. I got the replacement part here. A little bit of challenge I'm having right now is that space down there is continued to be very tight. I'm able to pull this up a little bit high, but not far enough to give me a good hand access. And so my suggestion is, if you have to cut like I did, and in fact, even if I disconnect it, that wouldn't have worked anyway, because as you can see, this connector piece here, it's basically all falling apart. If you have to cut, just so that you have longer wire to work with, I would move away this black piece here and cut it close to the connector as possible here. I regret leaving length of wires here, because if I left a little bit longer wires down here, I think that would have given me a little bit more flexibility. Okay guys, so I used the butt connector to connect the two sides. I don't have a heat gun, but let me see if I can find some source to heat that up. And that plastic piece is supposed to melt on there securely, so the dust don't get in. And I think it'll help to hold the connection in place. So I'm on the front side of the car. I'm gonna go underneath, okay? And as you can see, there's a bolt here. This is the long bolt for the AC compressor, okay? And you can see my socket up there, okay? I didn't get a good video when I was taking this out, so I want to show it to you. I noticed some oil leak around the oil pressure switch there. So just swapped it out. This one required a 26mm deep socket, and that's not one of the standard sizes, so I had to order one. I couldn't find it anywhere in a local store. The Lowe's had a short one, but that wouldn't fit. So I had to order one from Amazon. I think I paid a little bit less than $8, and it was a 2-day delivery. Okay guys, so finally, this has taken multiple days here. Finally I got the brand new alternator put in there. I was so jealous whenever I saw this on a YouTube video. Yeah, it was challenging to get the alternator out, but it is definitely doable. So I struggled with it, actually. I'll be honest, I struggled with it for, my gosh, a few hours. And then my wife came out while I was taking break out of frustration. She looked at it very closely and she said, "You're very close." You know those, it's not perfectly round, right? You got all these wings, you know, for the nuts on both sides. She said, "You just got, I just need a little bit more room to take that out." So, you know, I obviously ended up taking out this idler pulley and the bracket above it, and then the upper idler pulley. They gave me a little bit more room. Still have to wiggle around, but like my wife says, look for those the little points where the bolts are screwed in. They stick out, so just pay attention to where they're at. And for me, it came out in 2 steps. So I wiggled it and it came out like halfway, and then I had to rotate the alternator you know, to a position where I can, you know, get out the remainder of the 50%. So I thought maybe putting back in would be more difficult, but to my surprise, it actually went back in, you know, on a first attempt without much struggle. So hope you guys luck. So I just reassembled everything. I'm gonna test the battery once again. This is actually a brand new battery before I confirm that it's actually the alternator. So I'm gonna test my battery. It's at 12.5 volt. So I'm gonna go start the car and see what happens. Before, when I did this, prior to replacing the alternator, after I start the car, the voltage will fall right at 12 or even below 12. So obviously it was not charging at all after it started. So, all right, let me go start the car. All right, I just started the car. Let's see what the voltage reading is. Ah, much better. 13.4. And I'm measuring it again. First time was reading 13.5. I used another point in the battery connector, and it's reading 14. And now it's going down to 13. Just seconds ago, it was a little bit over 14. My idle is settling down now a little bit, so I think that's what's bringing the voltage down, but I think it's charging.